Live from JMT Studios, it's time for Two Jersey Kids, the best video game podcast on the planet.
Happy Thanksgiving, all you Jersey kids out there. It is Thanksgiving. Me and Gary are here for your listening pleasures. We are the Two Jersey Kids. We come to you every Friday, but this is a special episode because it's Thanksgiving, because realistically, all those people out there that don't actually watch football want something else to do or listen to, and here we are. We're supplying you with a gaming podcast Thanksgiving episode where me and Gary, the best stick handler in the business. How you doing, Gary?
Yo, doing good.
We are going to actually run down the Game Awards, in each category all the way through. So this is kind of like a play-along episode. Who knows where this episode is going to take us? Who knows it's going to be 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours? We don't even know. But we're going to just roll on through and see what comes from our noggin. But if you didn't know, you can follow the podcast at Two Jersey Kids. And you can find the podcast, in many places like SoundCloud, Stitcher, TuneIn, Overcast. I know there's some Overcast listeners out there. Please recommend us on that. iTunes, of course, as always. Please go give us a 5-star rating. It would be so grateful. We would be so grateful. It would be an amazing thing. We'll read 5-star ratings whenever we do finally get them rolling back in. Hopefully, I just feel it's going to start taking off, Gary, where we all of a sudden just shoot to the moon. We'll hit 40 all of a sudden out of nowhere. Or
like I do. It just really dawned on me. I'm not sure what I've been thinking this whole time, but I could actually get some people to watch my stream to submit a review to our podcast for sure.
Oh, I already bugged one of your the people that watch you, Odd. I bugged him on Twitter, but he never responded to me.
Well, I'll have to say something to him. But yeah, they actually listened to the last episode of our podcast, and we were discussing some of the things that we were talking about, like Battlefront 2 and my criticisms of that game. But yeah, we got some new fans out there, dude. Slowly but surely, it's happening.
Yeah, and if anybody actually is interested in going more in depth on EA, actually somebody is finally coming back into the video game industry. Colin Moriarty. He did a recent quick 15-minute YouTube video specifically all about EA and how this feels like kind of feels more of a money grab, where at least with microtransactions, if it's cosmetic, it's not really pay to win, but they're sort of just saying, F it, we don't care, even though it's a franchise such as or Star Wars where they know they're just going to make an insane amount of money and they're just trying to wring out any little bit, but... And also shout out to somebody I talked to over on the Twitter sphere. He may be listening to this most recent episode, even though this is not a realistic episode. Big Ozwin on Twitter had a nice conversation about, the future of pricing, whether or not, microtransactions should be included, multiplayer, splitting it up, sales-wise. I enjoyed having a conversation with an actual human being on Twitter. It's fun.
Yeah, like reasonable people, people that aren't crazy.
Instead
lunatics.
of that one lady who just got mad at me because I said L.A. Noire was overrated, and then she just sent memes, and that was it. I'm like, this is the world we live in. What?
Like a lady? It was a girl. It wasn't a guy.
I think it was a woman. I can't remember.
Oh, really?
But shall we start off with following along? You can follow along because they do it so nicely now where you can actually just vote on Google. You search the Game Awards and they just pop up each individual category. We're skipping the last two right now, which is the best esports player and the best esports team, because frankly, we don't even know who they are. So we don't want to just give a vote. But what's the first one? We're doing best esports game. Starting it off. You have CSGO, Dota 2, League of Legends, Overwatch, and Rocket League. Now, I threw the question to Gary, is what exactly does this mean? Because it seems like the best esport game would be the same over and over, because you don't get many games that hit the esport zeitgeist, I guess you could say.
Well, I would say, with esports anyway, it just comes down to the best overall esport experience, what the best competitive game is, and it says here in the... actually on the website itself, that inclusive of tournaments, community support, and content updates, irrespective of genre or platform. So basically, we're just voting for the best esports, competitive community, that sort of thing. If I may, actually, I'll go first and say what my vote would be, I think, if I were to choose here. I'm not much of a I'm not much into any of these games here. I've played a little bit of Rocket League. I've dabbled in CS:GO. I know Dota 2 is very popular. League of Legends, obviously, crazy popular, and of course, Overwatch is awesome.
Overwatch, what was the game of the year last year? Basically, ran away with a lot of titles. So I wouldn't be surprised if this pops up again.
Now I've heard that Overwatch apparently has kind of
mellowed
out over time, so I'm not going to vote for that. What's up?
You think it plateaued?
I think is the good way. Yeah, it died off obviously after the initial hype release, and then it plateaued.
Do you think it has something to do with a lot of the toxicity that's coming out, and maybe people are seeing these articles that are being released about how the fan base is yelling at each other, very toxic, and maybe they just don't even want to hop into it, or I don't know.
I think it might have something to do with it, but at the same time, the game's been out for a while in video game standards, and there's a lot of other titles that come out. So I think it's only natural that Overwatch sort of dies down, and you still maintain that core, hardcore group of people that always play the game. But
let's be realistic, though. The community, I think, in all of these are probably pretty toxic comparatively to a single player game, because you don't talk to anybody, which I like in single player games.
Yeah, like Dota 2, I don't know much about. I can just assume it's toxic, but I know League of Legends is frankly considered the most toxic game of all time by everybody I know. Everyone I know that plays League of Legends, they say it's just a cesspool of douchebaggery. But
yeah, Dota is just as bad. I remember I hopped on one match with my good friend, our good friend Paul. I was just playing with him because he plays it. I think he has, I want to say, in the 100 triple digits worth of playtime in Dota 2. I wouldn't be shocked if he's in the thousands now because he plays so much. Or what, you going to go check it? Do you have him on Steam?
Of course I am.
Oh, I can't wait to find out. But I remember hopping on and playing because I was kind of interested in playing Dota, maybe since everyone seemed so hooked to it at the time back in high school. I was like, maybe I'll give it a shot. Hopped in. Oops, I dropped my phone. Sorry. I hopped in. I was very noobish when it came to this, and I just started getting yelled at. I'm like, I don't need this. I don't need this for being so. I'm okay at the game, but I'm not going to be yelled. And I'm really excited because you're holding up your hand. I think you have the numbers right now. Drum roll.
So let me tell you something right now. Okay, you said in the triple digits. Yeah, that's funny.
Then I corrected myself and said maybe in the thousands.
Okay, well, get ready.
Oh, God.
As of today, November 22nd, he has 5,472 hours in Dota. Now, I'll tell you what. The fact that he doesn't have a Twitch career at this point, I will never understand. That is a ton of time to dump into a game.
Paul would be great at it because I know he rages
much
at the game. Paul would be perfect, a Twitch streamer. And I just don't have 5,000 hours. 5,000? I mean, he is now studying to be experimental physicist. I'm pretty certain, or maybe is experimental, or is it theoretical? No, theoretical. Up in University of Connecticut, and I don't get how he still has time to do that shit.
Dude,
unless
where there's a will, there's a way. Okay, let's be honest.
Maybe he's sharing it with his brothers. I don't know, but where's your vote going towards, Gary?
I want to vote for CS:GO. It's the game that I have the most experience with in terms of competitive, and for as little as I've played this game, I will say that it has that certain intensity to it. It has the teamwork, and obviously the community. This game has been out since 2012, I think 2012. No, maybe even earlier than that. I could look it up, but I'm not going to because it would take too much time. But yeah, this game's been out for a while. 2012, I was right. So this game's been out since 2012. It's still very popular. Still a ton of people playing it. You still see it on Twitch. A lot of streamers playing it. So I'm going to vote CS:GO. It is legit and the best esports game of 2017. Adam, what is your vote?
Well, you're wrong. It's Rocket League. It's always Rocket League because Rocket League is so much fun. And the only reason I say that is because I can't hop into any of these other games now and be competitive. In Rocket League, I feel like I still can, and I can. If you go from the outside looking in, not that anybody on the outside is ever looking into this industry, but if you are, you can. This is the closest, I guess you could say, to an actual sport where people can understand it, where it's just fucking rockets driving and hitting a ball into a net. Perfect. I love it. I still love Rocket League. That is my vote. And thanks for voting. I got to go back now.
Yeah. Oh, wait, I didn't actually submit.
You didn't submit.
Confirm.
So yeah, you can submit.
No,
you can
gotta be logged into Facebook. Get the hell out of here.
So yeah, I mean, we are. This is a garbage truck rolling downhill on fire. About to hit a minefield. Basically, is me and Gary just doing this willy nilly podcast. But I mean, we are telling our votes out. We're just casting our ballots out into the ether of the interwebs. And
It's interesting
since
terminology, but
since Two Jersey Kids is just the best podcast out there, the best gaming podcast out there. I mean, who wouldn't take our opinions for fact? I think you can submit one vote a day, but why do we need to submit more when it's just us? When we are the main drivers, they are going to get multiple, maybe 30, maybe 40 votes from us by just stating this.
indeed, we're very influential.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I was just going to say something, and I can't. Oh shit! What was I going to say? Fuck.
How about we just move on to trending gamer, sir?
Yeah, Gary, you read who's trending gamer. I don't even know.
All
I know
right.
one person.
So, for trending gamer, there apparently are 5 selections. Okay, so we have, now, these names are pretty rough, I will tell you that right now. So, we have Steven Spone. I hope that's correct. We have Mike Griziak. All right, here's what we're going to do. I'm not even pronouncing the real names. No one knows the real names of any of these people. We have Able Gamers, Shroud, Dr. Disrespect, Half Coordinated, and Andrea Renee, or Ren, from What's Good Games. Now, I have been a watcher of both Shroud and Dr. Disrespect. They're 2 great streamers, 2 people that pull in an obscene amount of viewers on Twitch. I know I've seen Dr. Disrespect pull in probably 20K plus viewers by playing PUBG, playing God knows what. He's got a crazy personality. Shroud is, again, another great PUBG player, kind of just like one of those guys that you watch because he pulls off shit that you can't even believe. But yeah, my vote, I think, for this particular category is pretty much cemented already. It's going to be Dr. Disrespect. I really have a admiration of this guy, not because he's a really good video game player or anything like that, but because of how he has kind of found this act that he puts on. He's a personality. He's not just himself on camera. He has this 80s persona that he puts on. The crazy mullet. He has the 80s mustache, the sunglasses. It is awesome. So yeah, Dr. Disrespect, you have my vote for Trending Gamer of the Year for 2017. We appreciate your work.
I disagree because I don't know any of those people. I do know Andrea Renee. I think that's how you pronounce it. She guest hosts on Kind of Funny Daily or Kind of Funny Games Daily. I know her originally. I think she was on GameSpot. She would come on some of the PS I Love You podcast Beyond. I think she's great. I know people from what I see on the Twitter sphere. They are a fan of what's it called? What's Good Gaming. I know one of a fellow Nassian is a fan of that podcast and that show, so I think I'll submit my vote for that because she's the only one that I really know. Except for I do respect Able Gamers that he has a Eevee Pokemon on his shoulder. I do respect that very much, and it's still killing me that I don't remember what I was going to say because I was kind of excited to say it, and now it's stuck in my brain that I can't figure it out, and it's bugging me. So we're gonna move on. We're moving on to most anticipated game. And Gary, this is, I don't even know why one's in this category, but I know, I can understand why people are excited about it. So we have God of War, Marvel's Spider-Man, Monster Hunter World, Red Dead Redemption 2, and The Last of Us Part 2. Funny enough that 3 out of those 5 are Sony exclusive.
Did you mention God of War?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. This category.
This is easy for me. For me, this is easy.
Yeah, I can agree with you. I know where you're going with this, okay? But there's 2 that I have. I think they're kind of tied, but I will make a decision anyway. I want to say it's Last of Us Part 2, most anticipated game of 2017. I have to. I just have to do it. None like I would have picked Red Dead Redemption 2, but The Last of Us just there's no other game out there I think that's had the impact on the gaming industry that Last of Us has, at least on this particular list. I remember when this game came out, I mean, I personally thought that Last of Us got like obscene amount of people coming out saying how amazing it was. The game was great, okay? Not gonna lie. But I don't know, sometimes it was a little overboard, I think, in the unbelievable praise, constant praise. It was
For
getting
Last
kind
of Us?
Yes.
You better shut your mouth right now, Gary. Don't talk too much. The game
I'm not talking.
The game is a masterpiece. I'm sorry. It's amazing.
Oh yeah. No. It's just when I'm on IGN and people are like picking apart each scene, and it's like, oh, dude, there's this scene where Ellie sees the giraffe, and it's like this crazy feel good moment. Please just stop.
Some people
take it, dude.
Some people actually connect with characters, and they're going
So
through this
do I.
journey.
So do I. I understand completely. The whole story is very emotional. It's an emotional story, but it just gets old sometimes, and it's like, all right, I know the game's amazing. We know it is. Just I don't know. I'm just one of these people.
This is now because you've played it multiple times, you've gone through it, and this is, looking back. Whereas when you're actually in the moment playing the game, you're just being taken away on this journey, that's what it was. I mean, we can have a Last of Us discussion all we want. That game is amazing. I remember I mentioned that should be that show. I don't like the idea of them trying to make it into a movie. I know that was been rumors for a while. I was like, that won't work for a movie. Most video games don't work for a movie because, one, video games have, most of the time people enjoy video games because you actually play them. It's not really the story, even though Last of Us story is one of the few video game stories that are top notch. But I think it would suit better, especially because it's a video game built in acts. I feel like it as a Netflix miniseries where it's, each kind of act, or it's like an hour and a half to 2 hours in each episode, where it breaks down certain chunks of The Last of Us, and I think that would actually be kind of great.
I agree, but I also kind of disagree. I think that The Last of Us is already, it plays like a movie as it is. It's very narrative driven. So I don't really know if there's really anything that needs to be explained further on screen in a movie. Like Uncharted. I don't want there to be a movie. I don't want there to be actually a Netflix show. I think it's great as is. But if there were to be, because it seems like that's what's being pushed, is that they want a Netflix thing to come out on the big screen, I would rather it be of a Netflix variety. Or maybe, leave this story out of it so you don't butcher it and do like Ishes or do some other story that's in this universe. Yeah, I can definitely see it. I mean, like I said, I don't really think it needs to be explained, but if they wanted to do a different route, that's fine. Like I know Uncharted, they would maybe have Nathan Drake, but in some other different story, and I feel like that would perform better on the big screen, but that's kind of irrelevant to this conversation. So anyway, Last of Us Part 2 is my vote, with Red Dead Redemption 2 coming in slightly behind, but I very much am excited for Red Dead Redemption 2.
Just piggybacking off of the Uncharted, doing an Uncharted movie. What if there's a huge plot twist, and they all of a sudden at the end of Last of Us movie, all of a sudden you see Nathan Drake sauntering in, and then it's a cross-universe thing. It's now building your own Sony world.
That would be sick. And honestly, I have something weird to say. So not really weird. It's actually kind of logical. So anyone that watches Game of Thrones, Jaime Lannister. That man, would be the perfect Nathan Drake. He looks like Nathan Drake as it is.
He has to just dye his hair black.
Yes, he looks like Nathan Drake.
That's fair.
When I saw him, I was thinking for a long time, what does he look like? And sure enough, Nathan Drake. There you go.
He would be able to play a perfect, middle-aged Nathan Drake. Early 40s, late 30s. He'd be great.
He's got he already played in Game of Thrones in the beginning of the show anyway. He was very cocky, and that's how Nathan Drake is. He's very cocky, very, obviously kind of flamboyant. So it would work very well.
The perfect
Adam, what is your vote?
Oh.
Can I ask what is your vote here?
My vote, it's easy, The Last of Us Part 2. I mean, that's that's what I think it is. Now, I think it's interesting that it's most anticipated game, and they don't state, is it going to be next year? Because I don't think Red Dead Redemption 2 or Last of Us Part 2 are coming out 2018. I'm thinking it's 2019, most likely, for both of them. Maybe 2020. So if we're going to do that route, for what game I'm excited about next year, because these other games are not going to be in there, I would say Marvel Spider-Man for sure. Monster Hunter World, again, I'm not positive why it's in here, but I guess I can understand that people are excited. Monster Hunter is a huge, industry, huge franchise. People have enjoyed it, playing it on the Nintendo titles, and now it's coming to PS4, so I'm sure people are excited about that. Me personally, I've never really got into a Monster Hunter game. Maybe I should check it out eventually down the road. But yeah, my vote for sure is The Last of Us Part 2, because my vote is all that matters. Am I right, Gary?
I mean,
what the fuck am I saying right now? It's late. We're doing a late episode, and we are feeling it.
No, I am feeling it because this episode feels like the Two Jersey Kids that I know and love. Okay, we had back in the day when we first began. Anyone that's been with us, the Ride or Die crew. Mm-hmm. In the very beginning, dude, it was like this is what the episodes were like. We sat down, we had our news, and then we also just had like these sessions where we just go for it. Have these. Was it this weekend, or was it this game? The game's releasing this week, and then we had the. Like we had the top 5 favorite games. We had all those different episodes. So this feels like Two Jersey Kids.
Yeah, I wish I had the time to continue to do that, but unfortunately, shit gets in the way.
No, life is quite hectic these days.
Yeah, I want to get back to it eventually, and with your support by rating us on iTunes would be actually helpful. Maybe we can start getting more and more people following us, because we're just doing this out of the enjoyment of doing it, because we're not really getting any monetary gains from it. So I mean, you just keep rating us. Maybe eventually in the far off future, this will become a larger thing where we can actually maybe monetize it, where then we can do this more full time and you get to hear our voices more often. I mean, who wouldn't want that? I have dreams of just the Two Jersey Kids becoming like just a podcast umbrella, and then we just do like Two Jersey Gamers, then Two Jersey Scientists, or Two Jersey. There are
diversified,
two angry Philly fans, or some random, just a bunch of different podcasts going through a whole swath. I want to put Bill Simmons to shame. Anybody out there know Bill Simmons? He does he has the Ringer Network where he has a bunch of sporting podcasts. He's having a life right now. But moving on to the best multiplayer vote. Gary, we have Call of Duty World War II. Again, I'm not positive why that's in there. But Destiny 2, your fave, Fortnite, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, PUBG, and Splatoon 2. Shocking that there are 2 Nintendo games in the voting for this, because Nintendo not known for multiplayer too much.
Indeed. And I'll tell you right now. So, okay, I'll give you my vote, and I'll give you what is actually going to win. So the game that's going to win Best Multiplayer is going to be PUBG, and I don't think it should. But the one game that I personally am going to vote for, or would anyway if I did, would be Fortnite. By Epic Games. I am a huge fan of this game. Okay, so PUBG is unbelievable. I'm not going to deny this. The following that this game has gained, the sales it's had, the continued support from Bluehole, and the continued support from the community has been unbelievable for the game. No doubt about it. It deserves to be best multiplayer. But there's been a lot of problems I've had with that game, namely the performance issues on pretty much all PCs that I've ever seen. The game doesn't really seem to run that well. So, yeah, I don't really think I'm going to vote for it. So, yeah, Fortnite will be the one that I go for. This game is, everyone was saying when this game came out that it was like kind of ripping off PUBG. I don't really agree with that at all. I think that this game has the battle royale elements, but it has its own unique twist on it. You have the building mechanics, which really change up the game. I think the building mechanics in this game are the reason the game is as good as it is. You can build walls, you can build ramps, you can change any situation you're in just by building something around you. And I think that's such an awesome mechanic to have in a battle royale game, because a lot of times in battle royale games like H1Z1, PUBG, quite frankly, a lot of times you just get screwed by bullshit luck. You have situations where you're trying to get into the circle last second, or you're trying to get into cover last second, and you run out in situations you would never run in if you had the time. So, yeah, Fortnite has my vote. I just like the fact that you just have options in the game. The gameplay mechanics are fresh, they're fun, they're easy to use, it's easy to kind of get a hold of. And, Fortnite, man.
It adds verticality when you're able to build
Hell yeah.
Steps going up. Because I remember I played Fortnite recently and I got screwed because somehow this guy built the perfect tower where it ended up in the smallest circle possible and it was stuck there, and I came in second, unfortunately, but he had I guess picked up a rocket launcher along the way, and he was just on the top of the tower just shooting down at people.
That's so
and I was
dumb.
like, oh my god, this sucks!
Yeah, that's the one frustrating thing. But I do like the fact that, like I said, you have control over your situation. And if I'm going to be playing a Battle Royale game, I like to have control, because in Battle Royale, I mean, it's kind of one life and you're dead. So,
Oh my goodness, what are we doing? But I mean, I guess this is kind of telling we don't play all of these games because we aren't, video game insiders where we work in these places and have to play all these games or have, the monetary needs or monetary, what's the word? You know what I mean? We don't have the ability.
Clout?
Monetary ability. The clout. To purchase all of these games. I mean, do you think Call of Duty is on this list just because of the namesake alone?
Sure, absolutely. I mean, it was a highly anticipated game. A lot of people were excited about it going back to World War II, no doubt. And that alone, I look at
the game when I see people playing it online. It literally just feels. It looks like Modern Warfare style, just putting old weapons, but now. Like, the fact that they have scopes on these weapons, Gary. Have you seen that? They have legitimate scopes that are just like red dot scopes, but like, back in the day they put tape in this little scope so it looks like a dot. I mean, it's ridiculous. I don't understand, that's not realistic at all, but
Okay, so every player I've talked to that has a PC, everyone has said that Call of Duty.
This is a conclusive survey. 100% of the people Gary's talked to.
All right. Well, the one that's given me an in-depth review. Okay. He said he was very much disappointed in World War II on the PC. He said the game felt very, very floaty, I guess. Almost, it just didn't feel like, it felt slower. Like they tried to slow it down on PC to make it feel more like console. He couldn't really describe why it was why it felt off. I guess that was his best description. But he was very disappointed.
Do you think it feels quote unquote slower because it's actually set in the World War II, so you can't have people sprinting left and right, jetpacking, sliding, running on walls, all that jazz?
Possibly, but I mean, I don't know if that. I don't think so, because he didn't really play the other Call of Duties either. He didn't really play like the crazy jetpack games, so it's not like he has that to throw off his opinion,
Well, I'm shocked you chose Fortnite over Destiny 2, to be honest.
Destiny 2, okay, so I've been playing this game now for, almost a month now. The game came out, October 24th. It's now November 22nd. So yeah, I've been playing the game for almost a month, and the problem with the game right now is the current multiplayer meta in that game is just a lot of team shooting. The game can be, some of the games can get kind of boring.
What do you mean?
Yeah, it means like you don't really fight anybody one-on-one ever. Like you never seem to run into situations where you're duking it out with one player throughout the entire game or fighting 1v1s. You're most of the time going to run around as a team and you're going to fight 4 other players shooting at you, or you're going to get caught by yourself and then get mowed down by 4 people.
But isn't that normally how multiplayer shooters happen? I remember in Halo,
not Destiny,
Halo 2 or Halo 3 all the time is the main strategy to actually do well. Especially shout out to Team BRs on Halo 3. The strategy was doing having 2 teams of 2, because a lot of people would just run off to the lone wolf, especially when you're doing joining into a multiplayer match, is that a lot of people like to do the lone wolf thing. So if you're actually able to stick with another partner, you actually can drain them and drop them a lot quicker than they can drop one of you.
I understand the strategy behind it, and that's definitely true. I mean, but this game, the thing is, like with the original Destiny, it was fun. It was exciting, and it felt like all the gun battles were always like intense. You could kind of win your 1v1s and then,
be pissed off when you don't.
It was just a different feel to the game. I mean, now you feel like at least in my opinion, you get into these gunfights where you shoot a guy a couple times, he runs away and he runs back to his team. Then another guy comes out. You shoot him a couple times, he runs away, goes back to his team. You kill a guy, the whole team runs away to their spawn and then waits for the other guy to respawn. That, in my opinion, is not a fun multiplayer first-person shooter experience. I like games where you can down a guy quickly, or at least down a guy if he makes a mistake. You can't just run away all the time. That's my gripe with Destiny 2. I mean, I still enjoy playing the game, but I wouldn't be my vote for best multiplayer for sure.
So maybe we want to think about what people are listening to us, get us in the mindset of what we envision as the best multiplayer experience. What would you say in your lifetime was your favorite, or you feel like that was the pinnacle of multiplayer, I guess, shooters or multiplayer just in general?
Well, I mean, my experience is going to be different from a lot of people because I didn't have a chance to play online multiplayer until really PlayStation 3. So there's two games that really come to mind when I think of the best multiplayer, like online experience for me, and that was Modern Warfare 2 and the original Destiny. The thing with Modern Warfare 2 is like I loved Call of Duty back then. I had a lot of group of friends to play with, so therefore the game was always fun because it was kind of like hanging out with your friends, but also playing the game. And we were also pretty good at the game, so that kept it fun. Destiny, that was just awesome. I don't know. My friends and I, my friend Gavin and my friend Ben, we played together all the time. You were kind of like the three dudes. We were always, you had to have 3 players for a fire team to compete in pretty much any event in that game. So it was always us 3, and we had some crazy times, crazy memories in that game, and it was always fun. And again, we were pretty good at the game, so those would be my top 2 games. I know a lot of people would disagree. They would probably say Halo 2 was the best. I mean, I can't disagree. The game was amazing, but that was just my personal experience.
I mean, I love me some Halo 2, and I always say that I enjoyed it more than Halo 3, but multiplayer-wise, I feel like Halo 3 definitely was a step up just because of the custom game aspect of Halo 3. I mean, I feel like if you go back, it's always a flip-flop between what I think. I just think they are both amazing multiplayer experiences, and Halo 3 is definitely my pinnacle because I actually had more people to play with, and it goes to show how playing with other people can actually drive your experience and making it better. Because I've played COD games where I've enjoyed them playing with other people, but when I play them by myself, I'm like, this kind of sucks. This is kind of boring. I'm done after 2 matches. I'm like, I'm done. Pinnacle with COD, though, was COD 4. Shout out to the original. I love that more than Modern Warfare 2 or 3. I just like the original. That's just me.
I can't disagree with any of those choices. Even like COD 4, I didn't get a chance to play until after its time, unfortunately, but still fun.
Shout out to the G36C. That was the shit in that game. that gun.
By the way, what was your vote for best multiplayer?
I'm about to because I've only played this one, so I feel like it's only right. Is Fortnite, but I can imagine if I do eventually get a Switch in the future, I feel like that would change to Mario Kart 8 Mario Kart 8 because that just game seems like the jam. It's a little strange that other people it's in this category when it originally came out on the Wii U, but I guess there was less eyes on it back then. Now that it's on Switch, it's Deluxe Edition, more things added that people have been playing and enjoying. I love me some actually legitimate kart racers, and it's a shame that there's not actually more of them out there, just Mario on Nintendo, or I should say good ones.
Fair enough. So keep it rolling, man. You got to keep it going.
I'm trying to open it up. You could take the lead.
I'm spent on that category. We're going on the best sports / racing
exactly.
Racing
That's what I'm
game,
opening
by the way,
it up
everybody.
Right now. God.
Yeah.
Okay, read it.
Okay. We have 6 selections if you want to choose from best sports / racing game. We have Project Cars 2, Pro Evolution Soccer 2018, NBA 2K18, GT Sport, Forza Motorsport 7, and FIFA 18. Now, I'm going with past experience personally on this. I'm going to say NBA 2K18. That would be my vote for best sports game. For me, sports games, I don't know. They've gone downhill over recent years. I know you've heard me say this many times. I'm sure Adam kind of agrees with me on that in terms of like the fun aspect, the fun factor. I think the realism has kind of taken the front seat where the fun factor is sort of taking the back seat. But NBA 2K18, I played the past versions of this game, and I've never had a real bad experience with the game. Always had fun. I love the career mode. I love create a team. I love the fact that you can import logos into the game. I love the customization aspects of it. And of course, the gameplay is just top notch. It feels fluid. It feels smooth. It's fresh. And I can't say anything more. I just love NBA 2K18. I'm not someone that is a huge basketball fan, so for a basketball game to really pull me in the way it did, it says something. So NBA 2K18, best sports / racing game. I keep saying racing. I don't know what the hell it is, but I keep saying racing. Racing game of the year. So yeah, that's my vote. Adam.
Ditto.
What is yours?
I'm going to say ditto. Strange that they have 3 racing games on here, GTA Sport being one of them, because I think it just recently got released. I haven't heard too many things about it. I heard it's pretty decent. I haven't heard too much. In my opinion, I don't understand how racing games can compete with sports games in fun factor, but that's just, I guess, my personal...
And sales.
Yeah. I guess that's just how I feel, because racing games don't really feel as fun, especially when you have 3 simulated racing games where they're all more hyper realistic. In my opinion, I would prefer just have a arcade style racing game, just throw Rocket League but put it in a racetrack, and I'm good to go. I'm Cobracetic or whatever that is.
Cobracetic?
Yeah, that. I like to play GT Online racing once in a while when I'm bored and want to race, but nothing on the simulation aspect. The last game that I played, the Simulation Racer, was the original Grid, which I enjoyed because it had crash mechanics, and your car would be bumped in and you could race people online and, F up each other's cars, which I always thought was fun. But when it comes to this, simulation doesn't really get me jazzed, and I couldn't say anything better than what you already said about the NBA games, where it just sucks you in. I'm a fan of NBA, and I think 2K does a great job, bringing this NBA game to life, and I enjoy it. I just don't want them to put any more Spike Lee stories in the game and just let me do my created character, because that's what I like to do. Shout out to, what was it? It was Little Dick or Little Dicky, creator, a character that my friends in freshman year dormitory, they had a 360 and we created, they had a PS3 and we created a really short guard that could just rain threes down. It was funny. It was funny because the different play styles between me, Kyle, Jake, and Buddy were so drastically different. Me and Buddy, I think, would try to actually be more of a passer, we would be a point guard, which we were supposed to be. We would pass off, try to get more assists than points. But it was always great because when Kyle and Jake would play, they would just start launching threes. Sometimes we would be racking in the 50, 60 points just because they wouldn't pass the ball. They would just keep it. We may lose, but they didn't care. They
the Russell Westbrook strategy.
Exactly.
Shoot 80 shots a night.
Except for he's not going to be Russell Westbrook where he had a triple-double. We would average 80 points and 0 assists and 0 rebounds. It was just specifically that route that we went. But I'm going to vote for NBA 2K18. Again, I can't say enough about FIFA, though. As not a soccer fan per se, whenever I hop into a FIFA game, it's always intuitive, and I always enjoy it, a decent amount. But again, soccer never really gets me jazzed. Having a score of 2-1 never really is that exciting. Are you sad, Gary, that hockey is not on here? Is it not surprising?
It's never going to win America. It's never going to happen.
Madden's not on here either. This is not really. Yeah. This is not really. I don't think what people in America feel. I just think it's what.
It's probably an international thing.
Yeah.
If it's international, it makes sense. But yeah, internationally, hockey will never be popular that way. And football, absolutely not. American football will never be popular in the international sense. So. Yeah, these are the games I would absolutely see as having a chance to win internationally, especially NBA and NBA and FIFA. I think are the front runners for sure.
But I don't get gameplay wise why NHL shouldn't be more widely, regarded. I guess because those games are fun. Hockey in itself as a sport is a very simplistic sport. You take it, it's basically soccer just shrunk down onto ice, and I think it's a lot more fun because it's more fast-paced.
And physical contact.
Exactly, and it always baffles me that people don't enjoy it more or don't watch it. But shout out to hockey. If anybody does watch it, good for you. I don't know what I'm saying right now. I'm getting sleepy and loopy, and that's where we're at our best. Am I right, Gary?
This is what happens when you try to watch the Sixers game and then come on and do the podcast.
Oh,
Although
man.
I don't blame you, I was watching it.
That was a great game. Not gonna lie, that was great. That was pretty great. I'm submitting my vote for NBA 2K18, and I don't get why. I mean, I do get why. It's why people do hate EA is that they iterate on these games all the time, like FIFA, NHL, Madden, and even though they don't need to, they don't ever really need to iterate. I mean, we had this story on the last episode where they could just release a block of code like they do in like China and Korea. Is that it? Where they release a block of code every few years where it just updates the roster and some gameplay tweaks, I guess you could say, and bingo bango, they're good. But they always release it every year, and that does kind of irk me that they actually do that in other markets, but yet they don't do that here because they can just eke out more money. Now, I know I don't want to be have EA as the punching bag because, other companies nowadays are doing crazy things too, and, I mean, COD with microtransactions as well, Activision. I mean, Activision, is an easy punching bag, so, I mean, I don't know what I'm saying. Moving on to the best strategy game. Gary, read, please.
Alrighty then. So we have best strategy game. It's the best game focused on real-time or turn-based strategy gameplay, irrespective of platform. We have 5 choices. XCOM 2, War of the Chosen, Tooth and Tail, Total War, Warhammer 2, Halo Wars 2, and finally Mario Plus, Rabbids Kingdom Battle. I personally don't have a choice when it comes to this particular category. I
just saw this on Steam, Tooth and Tail, and I had no idea what it is. But apparently it's kind of wacky. Good.
Yeah. I know now, personally, okay, I'm going to throw in a vote here for a good friend of mine. He plays a lot of Total War. That's like his game, okay? He was a big into, I think, Total War Rome. I hope that's the correct name of the game. But yeah, he's big into that game, so I want to throw Total War a vote just based on the rave reviews I've heard from the game in the past. Other than that, though, I hate to say it, guys, but I don't have any personal experience really with any of these games. I've had I played a little bit of XCOM back in the day over a friend's house. I did enjoy that game very much, for the limited experience I had. So maybe I could vote for XCOM as well.
Give it to you. X gonna give it to you. I just started thinking of the DMX song, classic.
Yeah, that was
always love it when that song randomly comes on when I'm just jamming in the shower on Pandora Station, just a random station, and all of a sudden DMX just rolls on in. Throws me off, but I get hyped. But if people want to know what Tooth and Tail is, apparently the summary goes that you lead the revolution with an army of flame-throwing boars, mustard gas-lobbing skunks, and a paratrooping puking owls. Tooth and Tail is a real-time strategy game, features single-player online competitive play, split-screen replays, and more. Build a base, lead your army, and eat your enemies. I think this game actually kind of looks really cute. And I may vote for it just because of that. And I haven't played anything else. Actually, no. I feel like Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle is actually going to win. Let's be honest. I feel like people really enjoy this game. And shockingly enough, this was developed by Ubisoft. Ubisoft actually did the Nintendo license well, so I think I'm going to vote for that just because I'm just going to join the party and make sure I'm right. So I hope people out there are keeping track to see who's going to win. Gary, we had a lot more to go through. What is the best family game? I'm going to roll through. We have Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle, Sonic Mania, Splatoon 2, and Super Mario Odyssey. Gary, do you notice a trend of all these games, why they are best family game, or what we like to call best baby games?
They're all, it's so insulting to the Nintendo base, but yeah, they're all Nintendo games, yeah. But yeah, I'm going to submit my vote right now, because I think this might be the best one. I don't know. People might disagree. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, voting for it. And the reason being is that I think if you're going to play a family-oriented game, Obviously, you're going to play Mario.
Oh,
but
I
obviously
like,
you're
your,
going to play
I
a
like your
game.
take on this. You're going to the actual family route where people are going to sit down and have
Yeah.
family cheer together, racing each other.
Exactly. You're going to play
Brilliant.
a family game. You're going to play with your family. So why not play a racing game? It's going to get competitive. You're going to scream at your older sibling for beating you all the time.
Throw a
And it's
controller
gonna
and
be a great-
just leave a dent in the wall.
Yeah, it's going to be a great family experience. Get into some fist fights. I could definitely see
man.
it happening.
This constitutes a family game. If there is not fist fights being happening, I don't know what I'm saying. If fists are not being thrown, it's not a family game. Am I right? And if you can't play a multiplayer aspect game in this category, then is it really a family game? You're brilliant. Did I ever tell the story on this podcast of when I threw those when we played rug hockey all the time? Those rug hockey sticks.
Oh, yeah.
I got pissed at my brother because he's a fucking...
Oh, you threw it at him?
Yeah, I threw it at him because he was huge and he took up the whole net. And I got angry and I threw it at him. And my mom never really noticed that there was a hole in the wall downstairs. So...
Yeah, well, it's your feeble mind, your young feeble mind's fault for believing you could beat him, someone of his size in roller hockey.
The reason I was so upset is that it was tied 9-9, and I was on the side where there was
Bank it in.
where there was a side where it was close to a sofa, and you could always try to bank it in, and that would most of the time would work, and it did, and it pissed me off. But I think I'm gonna vote for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, specifically the fact that I feel like this is the only category where it's actually going to have a chance at winning, because if it's in another category, like I feel like Super Mario Odyssey, I don't want to spoil it, even though I'm not voting for it, but I feel like Super Mario Odyssey is actually going to win Game of the Year just because people have been raving on it and raving about it and been hopping on that D so much. Maybe eventually I'll be able to play it and understand why people enjoy it so much. But it's a classic 3D Mario platformer, so I can understand that. But yeah, I'm going to vote for Mario Kart 8, not because of my reasoning of, gaming the system, but because of your reasoning, because I think that makes more sense. And that's a very Two Jersey Kids opinion. So Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, we're voting for it. You should vote for it too if you're following along out there. And if you're actually on your laptop right now, you can go over, go find us on iTunes and give us a rating, Two Jersey Kids, or Stitcher.com/Two Jersey Kids, and you can find the podcast and give us a 5-star rating. Gary, why are you shaking your head? I'm actually supposed to be doing this.
The plugs have been real this episode. I'm not going to lie. I'm impressed with your plug ability.
Why? So why are you shaking your head?
No, just the way you managed to slip it in there.
Just slide it in. That's what I'm known for. Nope, not going. Nope. Moving on to the best fighting game. Ooh, my throat is starting to hurt. We have ARMS, the Nintendo game known as ARMS. Injustice 2. Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, Nidhogg 2, and Tekken 7. I know what my vote is. It's obviously going to be Nidhogg because the game was amazing when it first came out. And from what I can see, even though the art style has drastically changed, it seems like it's the same Nidhogg, and it looks adorable and a lot of fun, and I know people enjoy it. So I'm voting for that. Again, we are outsiders, so we don't play all these games.
I'm going to take Tekken 7. And you know why?
Why?
Because of past experience. Again, okay, so when I first bought my PlayStation back in the day.
Oh, did you play Tekken 3?
It might have been Tekken 2 at the time. That's how far back we're going right now. But yeah, I played the sequel, Tekken 2, on my demo disc that I got with my PlayStation. It was Tekken 2, Crash Bandicoot, NHL 97, and some other random ass games. But yeah, those were like 3
how you have
games
this
I
memory.
remember.
I can't remember, what I had for breakfast this morning. I don't understand how you can remember what games you had for the PlayStation.
I don't know, dude. Superhuman ability. I don't know. But yeah, it was on my demo disc. Played Tekken 2. I played a lot of this game, and it wasn't really I'm not even a big fighting game fan. But yeah, it just from personal experience and from past experience and because of nostalgia, I'm going to go with Tekken 7. Don't hate me for it.
I don't hate you. I think I played... I don't know which one it was. I'm going through all the Tekkens to see if something Tekken 4. That's the one I played on PlayStation 2, and I specifically remember because I would go through and play like the quote-unquote story mission, and I would play as like the main guy, and then all of a sudden I'm fighting a bald dude, and then I'm fighting a demon, and then this guy all of a sudden gets tattoos, and then he becomes demonic, and it was really strange, and it just sticks in my head, and that's all I can remember about the game, but that's about it. Gary, you want to read the next category?
Sure, we're moving on to best role-playing game for the best game designed with rich player character customization and progression, including massively multiplayer experiences.
Where are you getting these descriptions? I'm just on Google right now. Are you actually on the site?
Awards website, sir.
Damn! Put me to shame, Gary.
We have 5 games. South Park, The Fractured Butthole. Final Fantasy.
Oh, I'm a child.
15. God, I can't read Roman numerals all of a sudden, but Final Fantasy 15, Divinity, Original Sin 2, Nier Automata, and Persona 5. Adam, I want to actually let you take the wheel on this. I want to let you say, what is your pick? Because I'm interested to hear here, because I know there's a couple games here that you've had a lot of experience with and have really enjoyed. And, well, I just want to get your opinion. So what is your vote for best role-playing game?
So I do have to give a shout-out because I've never actually played it, but the Divinity Original Sin, I never played the original one either, even though I heard great things, and I've always seen it on sale. I mean to get it, but I never do. But I want to give a specific shout-out is because there's actually like a Dungeon Master D&D style game mode of it where you can actually play with people online and they can go through little areas that the Game Master can create, and I always thought that was really cool, and I watched people actually play it, so shout out to that game. If it wasn't competing with other games, I would actually give it my vote for that, specifically for that. Persona 5, never played it. I always wanted to play it on the Vita, but again, this was very hyped. It's been, I forget when the Persona 4 came out, back on PlayStation 2, I think it came out, and Persona 5 finally came out, so people enjoyed that. Not voting for it because I don't have any experience with it. South Park, The Fractured Butthole, I kind of want to vote for it just because of the name, and I love the Stick of Truth. And I saw today that The Fractured Butthole is 33% off, and so The Fractured Butthole is looking mighty fine as a purchase, I should say. I'm thinking about purchasing that, but I mean, heard people raving about it. Again, the only game that I had experience with is Final Fantasy 15. I think I'm going to give it to that because I did enjoy Final Fantasy 15. And if we didn't vote for it, I think Allison would rip our heads off because she loves Final Fantasy. Shout out to Allison, one of the OG Jersey kids out there. And then Nier Automata, I don't know, cool stuff.
Well, you know what's funny? I thought I got confused because I remember it was Neo that you were a big fan of. That's the game you were playing, not Nier Automata. But yeah, so I'm going to throw my vote as well.
God
into
damn
the
it, Gary! You're making me laugh too much.
That's what I'm here for. I'm going for the Final Fantasy 15 simply, okay, people, for Alison Lodato, like I said, or like Adam was saying. She's been a big fan of our podcast for a long time, and a lot of these role-playing games here I am not too familiar with, to be completely honest with you. I haven't played any of them, actually, so unfortunately my vote is pretty meaningless, as is my opinion. So you can rant at me or tweet at me telling me how terrible I am of a video gamer. But yeah, Final Fantasy 15, that is my pick. Adam, shall we move on to the next category?
Yes.
Do you want me to take the wheel? All right, we're going on to Best Action/Adventure Game. For the best action/adventure game, combining combat with traversal and puzzle solving.
Here's the thing that annoys me, kind of, the whole action-adventure game. When I always think of adventure, I guess, but here's the categories that is strange. It has best action-adventure game, and then it has best action game, and I don't understand why. Why is it not best adventure game? And when it comes to best adventure game, I always think of, like, point-and-click style games, and it's really strange.
Because it combines, I'm assuming it combines both elements of action and adventure.
But there's an action game that's in the next category, which I'm assuming probably has a decent amount of these games already in it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not reasoning this. But yeah, we have, I'm just going to read off the list for everybody. So the first game we have up here is Uncharted: The Lost Legacy. Next we have Assassin's Creed Origins. Then The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. Super Mario Odyssey, and finally, Horizon Zero Dawn. Now, I am going to actually make my pick right now. Okay? Horizon Zero Dawn. That's my pick right now for best action/adventure game. Reason being, okay, is that I feel like Horizon Zero Dawn, out of all these games, okay, I know a lot of people are going to call bullshit, but Horizon Zero Dawn out of a lot of these games, I think, is the most fresh game, most original game. I know a lot of people were really thrilled with Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. I don't have a Switch, so I can't say I've had experience. Uncharted obviously had a lot of hype going into it, but I still feel like it's a spin-off of Uncharted, so I don't know if it's its own standalone game, but I don't think it's like a new idea per se. And Assassin's Creed.
To piggyback off of that with the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, seems like they actually decided to bring in Western tropes that they put into RPGs that are now finally moving over to Zelda. So it doesn't seem that too drastically of a change. It's just Nintendo finally shifted towards, the times.
Yeah. I mean, I can get on board with that. But yeah, in terms of Assassin's Creed Origins, again, heard a lot of great things, but it's not entirely new. So yeah, I mean, and obviously we have Super Mario Odyssey, which people are, again, really excited about. But for me, Horizon Zero Dawn, I put a lot of time into this game. The story was awesome. It was definitely original. It was post-apocalyptic, but it brought in a different twist to it. I'm not going to spoil it for people that haven't played the game. All I will say is that you will very much appreciate the story. I'm glad to see they didn't put this into the best role-playing game, because I feel like this game didn't have the longevity of a real open-world RPG. It was more of a action-adventure game set in an open world where you did the story, you did other like kind of branching like side quests and like specific quest lines, like side quest lines, but it wasn't quite the open world like Elder Scrolls experience. So I'm happy that it's in this category, and yes, I will vote Horizon Zero Dawn. Great game, everybody. Go out and play it. Adam, what is your pick?
Agreed. I couldn't agree more with all your sentiments. It's definitely not a RPG, because if they have some sort of a skill tree, if I remember correctly, but it's not too drastic of a skill tree that you could see in actually large RPGs. The combat is, I guess, could fit somewhat of an RPG where you have to sort of words. What the words are not working for me right now. Where you actually have to plan it out when you're playing. When you're fighting. It's like, what are they called? Sabertooths, the big gigantic dinosaurs that are running after you. You can trip them, hack them, use different weapons, upgrade your weapons. So there's some RPG elements to it, but I wouldn't consider this actual RPG, specifically because, Horizon actually tells a fantastic story. Shockingly, in an open world, this is one of the few open world games where the story actually kind of lives up to the vastness of the world, I guess you can say. Because, I mean, the main reason you like games like Oblivion or Skyrim is that the world is large. You can go to a lot of different places, but sometimes the main quest or the main storyline or the thing that you're following, the story in general, even the side quests aren't as up to snuff, I guess you could say, as normal storytelling, where I feel like Horizon, the main story in Horizon is top-notch, in my opinion. As Gary mentioned, there is a little twist, and I'm sure if you play it, you'll understand. So I kind of want to vote for Horizon, even though I do want to throw my vote behind Uncharted Lost Legacy, because I kind of feel bad that I never got around to play it, even though I wanted to. So maybe I should go play that eventually. It kind of sucks, because I normally support Naughty Dog games just because they're always amazing, and this one kind of came out of left field, it seemed like, so it caught me off guard, and I never got around to actually purchasing it. And this goes back to the purpose of what I said before. It feels like there's just so many games coming out nowadays at like a rapid pace that it just seems like it's hard to support. I think I mentioned it last time. It's hard to support every game that's coming out. Like, I want to support Wolfenstein. I want to support the Fractured Butthole. I want to support Uncharted The Lost Legacy, because these are all games I actually want to get into, but they're all coming out at the same time, and I don't have, right now with my occupation, I don't have actually time to support all of these and play them and dive into them, give in-depth looks into what those games actually encompass,
Indeed. And I know, it's one of those things where you go to buy a game, you play it, you want to get your money's worth out of it, and then by the time that you're done with the game and you want to move on to the other game you had in mind, there's another game coming out that you're interested in. So that's always the twisted cycle we get involved in here, the endless, merciless cycle. But,
and I don't get why people just don't wait to release a game. Maybe just push it off until the summertime when there's literally nothing. I mean, that's why I think Dying Light did so well. Dying Light is a fantastic game that I love so much, but it came out in, what was it, February or January, where there's a random lull in between the fall just rush of all these games and then the random spring rush that happens nowadays, where it was right in the middle where there's a normal lull and there's nothing on each side of the game, and it just sold over 1 million copies, and it was a fantastic game, and I think I would have looked past it if it came out during the fall time or when, the Dark Souls 3 was coming out or Uncharted 4,
Yeah. I mean, you got to go. Well, I mean, the thing is, you got to go for those holiday sales with all these greedy, money-grabbing studios like EA. Mm-hmm. But yeah. So I guess we can move on to the best action game, because I know your voice is struggling. So I guess I'll continue.
Circus of Values.
Oh God, that's a recurring inside joke, ladies and gentlemen. Actually, a BioShock joke if you're familiar. But yeah, we're moving on to the next category known as best action game. For the best game in the action genre focused on combat. So first up we have Prey, then we have Nioh, then Destiny 2, then Cuphead, and finally Wolfenstein 2. So I have had extensive experience with one of these games.
You wouldn't say.
Yeah, I think you guys already know probably
it's
by now
Cuphead.
Which one I'm going to choose. Yeah, it's definitely Cuphead. It's Destiny 2 for me. Despite my gripes with the game, the fact that it came out on PC and the fact that I've had that new experience with the PC version, it's kind of added a new life to the game for me. The game still feels amazing. It feels even better on the PC. The gameplay mechanics are awesome. The fights are still fun. That fact that I can play with other people, my friends and everything, and accomplish missions and raids and competitive multiplayer is definitely awesome and definitely done in top-notch fashion, as always, with the Destiny series. So I want to go with Destiny Dose. I know Adam's going to have a very different opinion on this category. So Gavin, my God,
my name's not Gavin. Stop trying to replace me with your best buddy, Gavin.
My worlds are colliding right now. It's like Seinfeld. But yeah, Adam, what is your pick for best action game?
So this is tough because it's between two for me. I recently, actually today, I finished Wolfenstein 2, which I kind of was shocked that I finished it because I didn't know I was at the end. Where in the Wolfenstein, the original, Wolfenstein 1, I guess you say, the New Order, it sort of had a climactic boss battle where this didn't really have so much. But I thought it was an amazing ending. I think it makes me excited for the DLC that's going to come out. So I would recommend actually purchasing Wolfenstein 2, especially with the MPD sales being what they are. For some reason, my voice level, am I not talking as loud? Am I just not, is my voice not projecting as well as it did before? Maybe it's just slowing down. I need to sit up straight, talk.
I think you're fine, man. Your voice level's been Gucci.
But, yes, and then I have Wolfenstein, and then I also have Nioh, and the difficult thing is that these games are so different. Nioh is more on the Dark Souls, Bloodborne style, exploring, hacking down difficult enemies, gaining levels, fighting difficult bosses, have no clue what exactly the story is, even though in Nioh I did have more of an idea of what the story was, where you lost your... I want to say dragon spirit or some spirit in your body, and you have to go capture it from this evildoer. What is this? Fucking the 80s? Get the evildoer. But yeah, you have to take down this guy. It seems like he's starting to cause like chaos and war throughout the land, and you are just traversing, trying to get back to fighting him, I guess, at the end. But they're so different. Wolfenstein has a fantastic story throughout. Nioh has fantastic exploration, fantastic world, so it's kind of a toss-up. Right now, in my mind, since I played Wolfenstein 2 recently, I'm going to vote for it. I think it has a fantastic story, I think there's portions of it I don't understand what they're doing, like why they have this random little hub world. Sorry, I hit the mic. Hub world, like in a submarine where you run around, which doesn't seem as useful in this game where it's mostly linear. They have some longevity to the game actually, where you can go around and you can do silent stealth missions, take out other German generals or Nazi generals. To keep going, and there's different different levels to go through, and I tried to play one of them. Shit was freaking hard. I didn't realize it could be that difficult. But yeah, I suggest Wolfenstein 2. I think it's great. Especially, I don't think you really need to play too much of Wolfenstein: The New Order to understand what's going on with Wolfenstein 2. So if that's holding anybody back, maybe don't, because they have somewhat of a flashback, and you make a certain choice that you had to make in the first game, but that doesn't really tell much. It just shows you what character is going to be in this game, in this installment, I guess you could say. So, highly recommend Wolfenstein 2. Neo, again, I can't recommend enough. 2, if you play that, Gary, I want to watch you play it on stream just so you can rage. It'll be great.
Oh, God. But last thing I need to read. I want to keep positive vibes, chill vibes in the stream. But anyway, we're moving on to a category for all the virtual reality fans out there. It is the best VR.
We have all the experience in virtual reality and AR, me and you, because we own an amount of 0.
I have actually a pick on this one for just because of reasons. I don't know. We'll get to that in a second. It's the best VR/AR game for the best game experience playable in virtual or augmented reality. Like, once again, irrespective of platform. We have first up Superhot VR, then Star Trek Bridge Crew, then Lone Echo/Echo Arena, followed by Farpoint, and then finally Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. My choice here is going to be kind of based on the fact that I am a fan of the horror genre, even though I never play horror games because I'm too scared to play them.
How are you a fan of it if you never play it?
Because they're awesome. Any game, I'm a big fan of games that make you feel a certain way. And, when you can play a game that makes you feel some sort of emotion, that's when a game is good. And obviously good horror games are games that can obviously make you feel that terror, even though you're safe and sound inside your house. So Resident Evil 7 gets my vote. I've seen people play this game before. It's pretty hilarious watching people get terrified on stream. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I admire the horror genre, even though I'm not a big player of it because, again, I'm too scared to do it. So yeah, Resident Evil 7, best virtual reality game in my personal, humble, uneducated opinion. Adam, what is yours?
I agree. I would say Resident Evil 7 just because of the horror genre that you could say that where it induces some or invokes some sort of emotion. But now that you add a VR headset to it, and from all intents and purposes, from what I hear, that the VR headset actually works pretty well for this game. I don't think anybody gets motion sick, but maybe I'm wrong. But the fact that you now have this game right up in your face in its first-person mode, you have all the sounds right into your ear, you're in this world, I can only imagine how much more this VR experience invokes fear or terror or suspense in your body while playing it. So I would suggest that too. But again, what do we know? Actually, we know a lot. You should pay attention and listen to us. Subscribe on the podcast services. Moving on to the best handheld game. You have... I don't know what we're going to do with voting on this one, Gary, because it seems like...
I was going to run this by you.
It's a shame that there's I don't see any Vita games here, because this is a travesty. It's a travesty in of itself that the Vita doesn't get more love. You have Ever Oasis, Fire Emblem Echoes, Metroid, Samus Returns, Monster Hunter Stories, and Poochie and Yoshi's Woolly World. You know what I'm choosing, Gary? Poochie and Yoshi's Woolly World, just because it's adorable.
All right, and I'm going to choose Metroid Samus Returns, simply because of the hype that surrounded this game. Obviously, the return of Samus.
You're bullshitting so hard right now.
No, seriously, though, there was a hype surrounding this game returning. Absolutely,
Metroid character Samus Returns. What
am I crazy or no?
For this game?
I'm gonna. Oh my god, what was the? Remember the Metroid? Oh my god. See, this is the problem here. We get into arguments on stream, and I gotta find this thing on stream. I meant podcast, but yeah. Official E3 trailer, is that to this game specifically? I don't know, but either way, I remember playing Metroid back on my original Nintendo DS back in the day, and it was actually a lot of fun considering how Nintendo DS games could be. I don't know. I didn't have many great DS games, but yeah, Metroid was a lot of fun. I'm going to vote for Metroid this time around, even though I never played any of these games. This is the risk you run when it comes to the Game Awards when you don't play all these games. But yeah, Metroid, you win.
I think.
Well done.
You win. But I think people listen to the ridiculousness that we are, Gary, just listening to us. But moving on to the best mobile game. Gary, what's the description of the best mobile game?
For the best game playable on a dedicated mobile device.
Wow.
Yeah.
So the choices are Fire Emblem Heroes, Hidden Folks, Monument Valley 2, Old Man's Journey, and Super Mario Run. I kind of want to boycott this vote, specifically because the game that I played the most mobile aspect-wise is not on here, and I'm kind of upset because I enjoyed it. It was Realm Grinders. Do you remember that game? You actually purchased it, Gary.
Oh, yeah. Actually, I did. It was on the PC version now, I believe.
You're the reason I purchased it, because I saw you had it on Steam, and I was like, oh, this is actually like an iPhone game that you can also play. And it's a very straightforward, kind of like Cookie Clicker, just with fantasy, and, you know, you're building up resources to then upgrade your castle, and it's a fun time, and I vote for that. I can't click for it because I see there's a blank spot on the Google voting, and I'm just going to assume. I'm assuming it's Realm Grinders, and it has my vote. What's yours?
All right, you know what I'm doing? I'm actually just going to boycott this category in general because I think all mobile games are trash. So keep on moving. Yeah. I'm not withholding any more of the opinions, you know? I've said it for a long time. Mobile games are terrible, and they're still terrible. Move on.
Gary, get the next one.
All right, so the next category we have on the list is Best Ongoing Game. Awarded to a game for outstanding development of ongoing content that evolves the player experience over time. So we have Warframe.
One, but we're going to go with this one and then we'll go back.
We did skip one? Oh, okay. Well, apparently we did. So the first game we have up is Warframe, then Rainbow Six Siege, then Overwatch, then Grand Theft Auto Online, followed by Destiny 2, and then finally the juggernaut known as PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. So this is a thing here, okay? I've had experience with a couple of these games that I could vote for. I don't know if I want to vote for them. Destiny 2 and PUBG are two games that I've had a lot of experience with. PUBG I played many hours in, and I sort of soured on the game as of recently because, again, of the performance issues I've experienced with the game, which I believe are kind of inexcusable in this day and age. But if I was going to vote for best ongoing game that I've had personal experience with, it would begrudgingly be probably Destiny 2. The thing about it is God, this is really tough, actually. Do I rescind the vote? I don't know. But yeah, I guess I'll vote for Destiny 2 based on prior experience. I've seen this game. Okay, we had the original Destiny, which released, and it was on that hype train, and everyone thought it was going to be the best game ever made. It wasn't. It bombed. But it came back, and it seemed that the community, or at least the developers, were listening to the community. They were evolving the game over time. They were creating content that was at least somewhat meaningful for a somewhat of a duration, I guess a month or two. It's hard to make a game last for 3 years. But yeah, I will vote for Destiny 2.
Can you really vote for that? Because it hasn't been ongoing. It just recently released.
See, this is the thing. It's like, that's why it's hard for me to vote for Destiny 2, because I haven't seen yet what the next, we know what the next expansion is going to be. They announced it, but we haven't played it yet. So I guess just based on the base experience, I guess I'll vote for best ongoing game. I will say that the only problem I have with it right now is that the end game is kind of which is a problem for an ongoing game. So this is the thing here. This is where I run into an issue. So
wasn't the issue with Destiny 1? The end game was
Yeah, but it seemed to have right now you get to the end game and there's no incentive to grind anymore. So now you just get to the end game and it's like, oh well, yeah,
it's the end.
It's kind of a shame. So that's the thing. The ongoing game, it's really tough for me to vote on. I could vote for PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. I feel like that game. I feel like that game is.
How can you not vote? How can you not vote for this game, Gary? I am so disappointed in you right now. As a Jersey kid.
Okay. So
as one of the hosts of the Two Jersey Kids that have seen this game pop up time and time again on MPD sales.
I was saying personal experience that I've had.
Gotcha.
I've had personal experience with, but I will say I'll expand outward. Okay, so PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, like, it's an amazing game. The sales figures have been unbelievable. The fact that there's still so many people playing it all the time, amazing. So again, worthy of the vote for sure. But then I know what you're getting at. Grand Theft Auto Online.
Yeah. You mentioned PUBG, that it's insane that it's sold this much, or they still have this player base. Yeah. It doesn't even it pales in comparison to Grand Theft Auto 5. That this game is still charting in the top 10. It's still selling so well. Didn't it recently just become the best-selling best-selling game in the U.S., which is insane. GTA Online is still thriving. I went on it the other day, and there's plenty of people just playing, racing, doing heists, doing whatever. It is a game that just keeps building on itself, and I don't know what Rockstar plans to do whenever they do release another GTA game. I'm not quite sure. Like, how long is this game going to continue? How long is GTA Online going to, give this game legs? It's insane. I mean, I remember when I first hopped into the game, GTA Online, I was like, there's no way. I mean, this is kind of cool, but there's no way with the load times and how long it takes to get into missions and quick games, and the HUD layout is atrocious, I believe. It just takes forever. It makes no sense where you have to go in your phone, try to find a job. You can't, it's not as intuitive, but yet people still play it. It's insane. And so I'm going to vote for that. Worthy. Now, what I want to know right now, what category did I miss? Because apparently, I think our lists are slightly rearranged differently. So I'm going off of what's going on in Google, like the simplistic one. And they had best indie game next. And when I looked, and best independent game was far down. So best independent game is for outstanding creative and technical achievement in a game made outside the traditional publisher system. You have Cuphead, Hellblade, Senua's, I can't ever say that name. Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice, Night in the Woods, Pyre, and What Remains of Edith Finch. And I don't know if you are going to have a vote for this, Gary, but you can vote. Do you have any? All right. Best indie game is, I'm going to vote Other. Other. I was gonna vote maybe Stardew Valley, maybe, but then it didn't really come out. It's not a recent game, I'll allow it. The thing is, I have another game in mind, but we make up our own rules. I'll allow it. Hold on, I'm going to see the release date for. Oh my god. Okay, yeah. So PlayStation 4 was released, or the PlayStation 4 version of this game was released on January 17th, 2017. It is The Flame in the Flood. Oh, solid. Now, I will throw my vote towards that, even though it might not be valid. Okay, I know for all you indie gurus out there. But I had a really good personal experience with this game, and also the company. Adam actually tweeted at them at one point asking them for review copies back when we were first getting started with the podcast, and they were gracious enough to fulfill our request. I got a lot of time to play with this game. Even though there were some sort of bugs with the game, I still had a lot of fun. And it was just a really enjoyable game to play. It had a certain atmosphere to it, quirky art style, unique art style to it, great music, really good music. It really added to, again, the great atmosphere it had. So I will vote for The Flame in the Flood. And if I can't vote for that, I'm voting for Stardew Valley. And if I can't vote for that, I'm sorry, but I don't have a vote for you because I'm not a great indie guy when it comes to this sort of thing. So bear with me. Adam, what's yours? I haven't played many of these games, and actually I haven't played any of these. I feel like it's going to come down between Cuphead and Hellblade. I'm going to vote for Hellblade just because of the risk that they took, the storytelling aspect. It's specifically single player. They do a lot of audio they use audio in an interesting way to tell the story, where this person has a lot of voices going on in her head, and I know a lot of people have played it. They really love this game. They thought it was amazing. I remember interacting with people online, and I just saw that it recently had sold. It basically just broke even. It had 500K units sold in 3 months. So the reason I just kind of want to support games like this, where they don't do like, oh, we need to have a $60 price point, or we're an independent game, we need to be lower. They did a fantastic, smaller story driven game where it looks beautiful. They marked it what they believe the price should be, and people responded, and people have enjoyed it, and I kind of want to support that, especially when they did an interesting, they took a risk, I guess you could say, in the storytelling, and they risked how do I say it? I'm getting tired. They took a risk of, talking about this sort of schizophrenia, I guess you could say, in the storytelling, and they did I think a good job from all I can tell from all the videos I've seen and people playing it. People have enjoyed it, and it tickles my fancy. Maybe I'll go play it next. What's next? It's Games for Impact, whatever that means.
Yeah, we let me intervene. We definitely need to skip some of these categories. Like, I can't keep bullshitting like this. I'm not bullshitting necessarily, but like the Games for Impact, I have no idea what these games are.
You have no idea what these games are?
I mean, I've heard of them for sure. If you want to absolutely, elaborate on some of your choices, that's great. But I don't have a vote for Games for Impact, guys. Okay.
I'm just gonna vote for Hellblade again, just because it talks about schizophrenia and voices in the head. So moving on to the next one, best performance. Oh, I think this one's gonna be easy for us, but maybe not. Best performance awarded to an individual for voiceover acting, motion, and/or performance capture. Oh shit, this may actually be hard. You have Melina Juergens, Hellblade as Senua. You have Laura Bailey, Uncharted Lost Legacy as Nadine Ross. You have Claudia Black, Uncharted Lost Legacy as Chloe Fraser. You have Brian Bloodloom, Wolfenstein 2 as BJ Blazkowicz. I always F up his last name. And then Ashley Birch as Horizon Zero Dawn as Aloy. Damn, this is difficult. I thought this is going to be easy because I had a feeling, but then I was like, shit, all these guys and gals did great.
Okay, so it's going to be tough. I have a couple selections I think I can go with here. It could be Ashley Birch for Aloy. It can also be Claudia Black for Chloe Fraser. I really enjoy, obviously, Horizon Zero Dawn, and I liked her character. I don't know if I would vote for her if like she was I don't know if there was necessarily like these epic, insane moments where I really was moved by her performance. I don't know. It was a great game, but I didn't think her character was that unbelievable. Claudia Black, on the other hand, with Chloe Fraser, she's been around. The character Chloe's been around since Uncharted 2, and she's had a lot of, she's been around longer. Mm-hmm. But I think that I might vote for Claudia Black with Chloe Fraser because of the fact that she was obviously a side character with Uncharted 2 and in the Uncharted series, but then came back and had to kind of take the reins, I guess, with Nadine Ross, the character Nadine Ross, and kind of create their own narrative and their own story and kind of be the centers of attention. So I haven't had the fortune of playing Uncharted: The Lost Legacy. I'm sure it's a really solid game. But I would vote for Claudia Black and even Laura Bailey, for that matter, for just kind of taking control of the Uncharted series in their own way and having to, put forth great performances for those characters. So
very eloquent. I mean, I love Laura Bailey. I think she does great work. I'm sure she'll get nominated next year because she's in literally everything. So she's basically like Troy Baker now, where they're in everything. Every voice actor, or not every, you know what I mean, every role. For Wolfenstein 2, Brian Bloom, I think he does a good job, but I don't see that character as doing enough of a voice acting role or acting role because you don't really see him quote unquote act out too much in motion capture. You don't see him talk as much because he's a very silent action, basically kind of like a first person guy. He doesn't talk too much. Sometimes he does. I think he does great in that role. I would vote Ashley Burch because I think she actually did a great job. Like we mentioned, that the story mode in Horizon Zero Dawn was, fit in with the open world of how amazing the storytelling was, and I think Aloy's character is what brought it out. When Aloy was getting in those conversations, I could feel, the inflection and the emotion that was behind it. And mind you, I don't think motion capture wise, because I don't know if they did motion capture for this. Maybe they did. I don't know. It did. Of course, the facial recognition wasn't nearly as good as, say, in Naughty Dog's Uncharted series or in Last of Us. But I feel like I could still, even though it wasn't nearly as pixel perfect as in Uncharted, I could still feel the emotion behind Aloy's character and her conversation, and having the interaction between when she's going out and unsure of herself, and then coming back where she becomes more and more confident. And I don't know. I like that performance by Ashley Burch, so I vote for her. And I also think she's pretty cool because I've seen her outside. I've not seen her outside, but I've listened to her do D&D and things like that, and she's pretty awesome. So random thing. What should we go to? Should we just skip to best narrative? I think that's the best route.
Sure.
Best narrative. Just because I'm getting tired.
Well, there's so many. See, the problem with these categories, okay, is that there's so many games that are just kind of redundant, and I hate being that guy to continually vote for games I've played with already, like that I've had personal experience with that I really enjoy. I don't want to be that biased guy,
But it's true. If you had experience with that game, you're always going to vote for it. I mean, that's what people are probably doing right now. They're voting for it. I mean, I know I'm going to be voting for Game of the Year because I have experience with it. So, yeah, it's for best narrative. It's for outstanding storytelling and narrative development in the game. You have What Remains of Edith Finch. You have Nier Automata. You have Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. You have Wolfenstein 2 and Horizon Zero Dawn. I'm actually going to give it to... Oh, God damn it. Horizon and Wolfenstein is tough. I know what I'm voting for. I think I'm going to go with Wolfenstein 2 because I kind of like this alternate history story because that plays into what my fancies are, what I like more. And I kind of like this idea of, now we're coming off the New Order... Wolfenstein New Order, you're now coming back to America, seeing the, effect that Nazis have had on, all throughout the world and all throughout America, and each individual town and what they're doing in certain areas where New Orleans become a ghetto, and you have to rescue different cast of characters. And I like the idea that you're sort of starting a revolution, and I like that narrative where you have this villain that you hate so much for what she did to you and the people that you love, and you are now going after her, and you're trying to spark up, you're trying to bring back the American spirit that was crushed back in the late 40s, and now you're trying to ignite it again to, fuel revolution, and that always gets me jazzed playing that type of game.
Hell yeah. And my vote, it's going to be once again Horizon Zero Dawn. The reason being is that I've never been a really huge fan of the post-apocalyptic genre. I think it's also really played out nowadays. There's just been so many games, so many shows based in the post-apocalyptic era, and I'm not a big fan of it. But with Horizon Zero Dawn, like I said, there's this particular twist in the story that really kind of blew my mind and made me think of post-apocalyptic games differently. Because, well, I can't explain because I don't want to ruin the story for everybody. But yeah, there's a twist
reasons.
In the story.
Just trust him.
But yeah, there's a twist in the story that really changed my opinion on the post end of the world genre. So I'm definitely going to vote for Horizon Zero Dawn. I really enjoyed that story. It was a fantastic. The whole thing was great, and it's really the last game I can remember now where I've really enjoyed the story. It's the last game I can remember playing where I really sat down and had a lot of fun with it. So. That would be my vote. Horizon Zero Dawn.
See, when you mentioned that, I feel like that fits in this next category, the best game direction. awarded to the game studio for outstanding creative vision and innovative in game direction and design. You have Wolfenstein 2, Resident Evil 7 Biohazard, you have The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Super Mario Odyssey, and Horizon Zero Dawn. This is where I would give Horizon Zero Dawn just because they did a completely new, I don't want to say genre, but new direction, new setting, post-apocalyptic dystopian, but yet still primitive as well, but with high tech. It was fascinating when I first saw it at E3, and it's still fascinating when we play it. And thinking about it now, it's still a great concept, and I feel like they delivered perfectly on their direction. And yeah, I can't say any more that you haven't already said. Just a shit ton already.
Yeah, no, I completely agree, and it was definitely a fresh take on, again, the old genre that had been, I think, played out far too much in my personal opinion. But yeah, I really enjoyed the hell out of this game.
All right,
it deserves to be best game direction.
We are now in the grandiose, the game of the year choice for us, Two Jersey Kids. So hopefully, if you're following along, you're gonna find out. Maybe you'll have a different game of the year. Maybe you'll be voting for another, because I'm sure there's games on here that you think are game of the year that actually weren't included in the vote. So we have Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Super Mario Odyssey, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, Persona 5, and Horizon Zero Dawn.
Phew, my God.
This seems easy
well,
for me, but...
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's easy. I'm going to choose Horizon Zero Dawn. I don't know if I want it to be game of the year. I mean, I had a hell of a time with this game. I'm not sure if it's. I just can't think of anything else to vote for. So yeah, it's going to be Horizon Zero Dawn.
At least we're honest.
PUBG. Yeah, I mean, to be completely honest, it's I haven't played the Super Mario Odyssey. I haven't played Legend of Zelda. I know that a lot of people enjoy that game. It may very well win. And Persona 5, to be honest, I haven't really thought much about either. PUBG. I understand that it has the sales, it has the player base, but again, if we're going for creative and technical fields, I don't think this game is up to par with a lot of games out there right now, especially any of these 4 games. Like I said, performance issues, that really bothers me, and that kind of taints my vision of the game. So Horizon Zero Dawn is my favorite. It played very well. The story was amazing. It felt fresh. It felt new. So Horizon Zero Dawn, game of the year.
Especially when in the description it says recognizing games that deliver the absolute best experience across all creative and technical fields. So, again,
that's what I was just. Yeah.
From what you're saying is PUBG is definitely out of it. I don't understand why it's actually in this category. I don't think it's anywhere close to Game of the Year. I don't know if it wins. In my opinion, that would be a travesty.
It's early
because
access.
That would be bullshit.
It's early access. It's not even a full, complete version of the game yet.
I feel like that would make this Game Awards show this year a sham if PUBG won. Especially when you have plenty of other games. They could have put Wolfenstein 2 in this. They could have put plenty of other games. They could have put Hellblade in this slot. They could have put, I don't know, just plenty of other games that not PUBG that are in this. I vote for Horizon Zero Dawn because that's what I have the most experience with. Personally, what I'm going to guess is going to win, which I feel like 95% chance, is Super Mario Odyssey. The other 5% is Zelda. Who knows? Maybe Horizon just sneaks it out if, people like us just keep voting for it because we have experience with it. To be fair, if this is actually just people voting on it and you can go back and vote on it, if more people have played Horizon Zero Dawn and they go through this list, they especially because PlayStation 4 has a larger fan base or larger player base than Nintendo Switch as of right now, I feel like people may still vote for Horizon Zero Dawn because like us, we don't have experience with Super Mario Odyssey because not everybody has a Switch because 1, it's sometimes difficult to find, and 2, maybe somebody doesn't actually want a Switch. So there's that.
Well put, good sir.
That has been our Thanksgiving episode. Wow, this is crazy. I hope you guys enjoyed that. It was kind of fun. Not kind of fun. It was fun, Gary.
I agree. It kind of feels like I said, old times. We got the 2-episode thing going on. Are we doing a Friday episode, or is this going to be the weekly episode? I mean, I think I'll tell you what. We put in time. We put in that grind.
I think we still should record one, but that's just me. We'll talk about it off the pod. But
I'm not trying to pressure you in front of all the listeners, of course.
Yeah, I want to record one, but we'll see. But yeah. This has been a fun Thanksgiving episode. We hope you enjoyed it. So while your family is watching that foosball, just kidding, it's football. I'm not going to act like a nerd that doesn't know what football is, that some people like to play the joke, like score the runs and throw the ball.
Oh,
bullshit.
God.
I hate that. It's like, stop being, yeah, Jesus Christ, you're a nerd. You're not a fucking moron. You know what sports are. Come on. But yeah, hopefully you can listen to us if you actually aren't watching football and you want to just have a good, fun time with your pals, me and Gary. But yeah, you can, in the description, if you're listening on Overcast or any other podcast service out there, like Stitcher, hopefully in the description, I'm going to put a link to @2JerseyKids, our Twitter page, so you can follow us. And then you can also, I'm going to put a link in there where hopefully it'll take you right to our iTunes page where you can actually rate us and give us 5 stars. It will help us out dearly, so much in our standings. It's mainly just to get more eyeballs on the podcast. Hopefully if we get up to 30, 40, maybe more and more people will actually see us, maybe and enjoy what we do and, enjoy listening to us, because you guys enjoy listening to us. So maybe more people will enjoy listening to us. So please share the podcast with everybody out there. Gary, do you have anything to say before we wrap this completely up?
Well, it's been a good time, guys. It's been fun being back here and kind of just having a more BS episode where we kind of sit around and talk about games, and especially these awards and everything. So it's been a good time. Possibly we'll see you on Friday. If not, I'll see you in the stream and everything. I may stream tomorrow. I don't know. I'm kind of like undecided. It is Thanksgiving. It is a family day, but my family and I never do much on Thanksgiving. we sit around and then we eat Thanksgiving dinner and then it's over. So I might stream a little bit tomorrow because I have time. I'm off, and then I'll be back again on Friday. We'll do a stream and then I'll be on the podcast again. So yeah, it's been fun. It's been a lot of fun, guys. I'll see you all later on. I'll see you when I see you.
All right, guys. Remember, you can follow the podcast @2JerseyKids. You can follow Gary @RealScavenger18. You can follow me @AdamJBuckingham. We are the 2 Jersey Kids. Have a great Thanksgiving. We'll see you on Friday. Bye.